Broncos country, what is going on? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. If you saw my draft review video, hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know how you feel about the Broncos right now. What players are you most excited to see? I have a handful, but I needed to share this before I get into our UDFAs. Smash the like if this made you at least smile, if not laugh. But I saw this on Facebook. Broncos going to have the first ever QB room to be sponsored by Vineyard Vines. Yes. Yes. Let's get a Vineyard Vines collab. Let's do it. Let's do it. But anyways, this is about the UDFAs. We signed some interesting guys, and you know that the Broncos have a track record of hitting on some of these UDFAs. I think most recently, Jaleel McLaughlin had a good rookie year for us last year. Tim Patrick has been great. Jaquan McMillan had a good year last year. Let's see who else. Chris Harris should be a Ring of Famer. Rod Smith should be a Hall of Famer. You guys know we have these undrafted guys that come out and do really well for us. Maybe not on a yearly basis all the time, but every few seasons we'll get a really good undrafted rookie, and I think we might have a chance to find another impact player or two from this UDFA class. So let me go ahead and share my screen so you guys can just get a quick rundown of all the prospects that we have. Shout out to Mile High Report. They have put this together, this tracker, and it looks really nice here. So Cameron Parker, friend of the show, Nebraska fan. We're going to have to get him to break down Omar Brown. This was a safety that I think had the potential to be drafted, but with the kind of de-emphasis on safeties when undrafted, he definitely could make the team if we don't bring back, somebody like Justin Simmons. But he can definitely compete with, Turner Yell and a few of the other guys that we have there on the bottom of the depth chart, okay? Blake Watson, this is a really interesting kind of scat back type of running back from Memphis. And guys, Memphis has put a ton of running backs in the NFL. Let's think most recently some really successful ones that they've had: Antonio Gibson, as well as Tony Pollard, another running back that they've had that has done really, really well. Okay. That I'm very excited for him. We've also added some interior defensive linemen: Brandon Matterson, G5 guy from UTSA, along with SMU Jordan Miller. And I've seen some people are very excited about Jordan Miller, think that he has a chance to possibly make the 53. So, hey, we'll have to see that. Utah tight end Thomas Yassmin, a little bit of an older tight end. He's from Australia, grew up playing rugby, and was the starting tight end for Utah this past year, and just absolutely crushed it. Wasn't a starter until this past year, I don't think, but highly athletic. And then, with tight ends, sometimes it can take a long time to develop, and you don't see them hit their prime at that position sometimes till they're like 25, 26 years old. Maybe Thomas Yassmin is one of those guys that can become that, because this tight end room is wide open. I was hoping that we were going to be able to sign down Holker from CSU after I saw that he went undrafted, but he went to New Orleans. Hopefully we can get some production out of him, and both Dallin Leonard, one of these guys, can be productive for us down the line. Frank Crum is a guy that a lot of people expected to be drafted. I think, I'm trying to remember. I think maybe it was the Let's Talk Broncos guys said that a handful of draft pundits had him as like a projected 6th round pick. So very athletic tackle from Wyoming, might be a little undersized if I remember correctly, but might need to improve his foot speed a little bit. But this is a guy that people were expecting to go get drafted, and I love the fact that he's up from Laramie. I believe he's born and raised in Laramie, played for the University of Wyoming. I think he's a 3rd-generation Cowboy up there. So really cool stuff, and I think he has the potential to be our developmental swing tackle no doubt. So exciting stuff. A few of the other names that I have yet to mention, but I'll just be honest, I don't know a ton about right now. Air Force linebacker Alex Mock, Fresno State linebacker Levelle Bailey. Again, bringing in some linebackers, that's great. Inside linebacker has been more of a devalued position, as of late, kind of like safety. So just because these guys are undrafted does not mean they don't have the potential to play in the league. They definitely could, and we'll see what they can do. And then we bring in another wide receiver, Washington State wide receiver Lincoln Victor. If I remember correctly, I think he's kind of a speedy slot guy, if I remember correctly. We'll see what he can do. And then, of course, Nebraska cornerback Quinton Newsome. Now, we also have some guys making some tryouts and the rookie minicamp coming up here in a couple weeks. Oregon kicker Camden Lewis, thought he did a really solid job for Oregon. Outside of, I think he missed that field goal to tie or win the game against Washington in their first matchup. It is what it is. We had our kicker miss our game-winning field goal against the Raiders week 1 last year, right? Fresno State long snapper Nick DeAmbra. Colorado School of Mines quarterback John Matocha, back-to-back national championship runner-up. Seems to be an interesting quarterback. He threw for Zay Weaver's pro day up at CU. So great to see him get a chance. And UIW, I wonder what UIW is. Offensive lineman Joe Bryson. UIW. I don't know what school that is. But ultimately, guys, I think the names that you need to keep an eye on here are Frank Crum, okay, Thomas Yassmin, Jordan Miller, Memphis back Blake Watson, and Nebraska DB safety Omar Brown. Oh, and how could I forget? We're also bringing in an edge, Jaylon Allen. So a handful of guys. I think Blake Watson got $250,000 and some change guaranteed on his contract. So he might be somebody that could go and take somebody's job, like P. Ryan or Williams or McLaughlin. We'll just have to see. But y'all let me know. Are there any of these UDFAs that you think we should definitely be keeping an eye on? It's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out. Again, we've had some guys like Chris Harris Jr., Tim Patrick, Rod Smith come out of just being a UDFA. And I'm really excited to see if any of these guys can continue on this legacy that the Broncos have in developing and hitting on some UDFAs. So thank you guys for your time. I will be back tomorrow with some more Broncos videos. And as always, y'all, go Broncos.